Professor Gregory Larkin found meaning in mathematics.
You think he's straight?
Oh, yeah. He's too boring to be gay.
But his relationships
Can I call you sometime?
never added up.
Sex ruins everything. I just want to share my life with someone. Someone I'm not sexually attracted to.
Professor Rose Morgan understood the human heart.
The question is, why do people want to fall in love when it can have such a short shelf life and be devastatingly painful?
But longed for a storybook romance.
Why? Because we all want passion in our lives and romantic love.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
I saw you pass by.
Yeah, I was just passing by and...
This is Gregory Larkin.
Rose, who's on the phone?
Be quiet.
I'm sorry.
No, not you, not you.
Who's calling?
Gregory Larkin.
I thought you were going to wear makeup today.
What's the point? I'd still look like me, only in color.
You need a therapist.
Ah!
I'd like to know what your intentions are.
I'm not interested in sex.
Does anybody want coffee?
I can't believe you've been dating for 3 months and you haven't even kissed. How do you say hello?
From the director of The Prince of Tides,
Gregory just proposed to me. Do you need a Valium?
the story of two people
Sometimes I swear he feels something too. I'm just not sure.
who thought they had found the perfect relationship until things got complicated.
Would telling you now that I'd like sex tonight be enough of a warning?
Having sex now will ruin everything.
That wine has made me warm.
I can fix that.
It's okay.
You're a very sick man, you know that?
You know, Rose, I'm...
Barbra Streisand,
I want to feel passion and heat and sweat and madness. I want it all.
Jeff Bridges,
It's not based on passion, although I feel that, or lust, although I feel that.
and Lauren Bacall.
You really love him, don't you? No matter what you have to do, don't lose her.
Rose!
The mirror has two faces.
Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and it's not a date. We're just agreeing to eat at the same table. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, my friend.
It's the scene where Barbra Streisand is giving a lecture. It's amazing.
It's amazing. I have two big hearts in my eyes just looking at her.
When I close my eyes, just like in Indiana Jones, it says, love you.
We're dorking out about 1996's The Mirror Has Two Faces, directed by Barbra Streisand, screenplay by Richard LaGravenese. Sure. And it stars Barbra Streisand, Jeff Bridges, Lauren Bacall. She looks amazing. Lauren Bacall looks amazing. I love Lauren Bacall.
We all do.
Segal, Mimi Rogers, Pierce Brosnan, Brenda Vaccaro. I think I pronounced that right.
Uh-huh.
We get a short appearance by Elle Macpherson. Did you see this movie in the theater?
Good God, no. I heard the song. That's the big love song in the soundtrack. And I saw the video, which featured Barbra Streisand and Jeff Bridges dancing around New York City.
Yeah.
Upper East Side, West Side, who knows?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think this will be the one for me.
I saw it in the theater.
And what was that like?
No, I was like, oh, no, I don't like that.
Did you go with your mother?
I think I did. And she was, this movie, like my mom was probably like, I really like that. I like Barbra Streisand. I like Jeff Bridges. I love Lauren Bacall. There's like no one in it that I don't like, but the driving force of this movie, the plot of this movie makes me crazy. And we're going to get into it. I did not like it. I thought Lauren Bacall was really good in it, but I think it was just, I was very excited to see Lauren Bacall.
I think we all were. And she
Yeah.
was nominated for an Oscar, and she does great work here.
She does, but this movie is just, we're going to get into it. Let's just, because this is one of those ones where we need to just go through it. like,
Yeah.
because there's a lot to talk about. So Barbra Streisand is Rose, and she is a romantic literature professor at Columbia University. And she is, I guess we would describe her as a plain Jane. She is very,
Yes.
yeah,
Frumpy.
frumpy. She is in her 40s, I think, in the movie. She
Supposed
is
to be playing 40s.
Yeah, there you go. And she is like living at home with her mom, Lauren Bacall. She's never been married. Her sister is Mimi Rogers. She is getting married to Pierce Brosnan, who dated Rose for like a hot second, but moved on to Mimi Rogers because she is hot stuff. And she's like all
She's beautiful.
beautiful. She's all tits and ass. So like he's like, yeah, I want that. Then we meet Jeff Bridges, and he is also a professor at the school, but he teaches math, and he's basically playing the same character from Starman. Like he is like
Nap it.
kidnap it.
Kidnap it.
Like, he teaches a very boring math class. He doesn't know how to engage with human beings. He apparently can't control his body when he's sexually attracted to people. He like fully like collapses whenever he gets a hard on, basically. I don't understand.
Very mature.
So mature for like a grown man who I
40
guess is,
something man.
yeah, a 40 something man. I'm all, maybe his penis is so huge that like all the blood in his body rushes to
He
it.
has that going for him as well.
Yes. Like he wrote a book about math. I'm sure it's very good. And he's doing a reading, and like Ella McPherson walks in, and she's his like ex-girlfriend, and he can't control himself when he's like interested. He can't lose control. He loses control of everything when he's like attracted to someone. So his solution is, I'm going to put an ad in a newspaper, because this is before online dating, and I'm going to meet a woman who I just want to talk to, and we have things in common, and I won't be attracted to her, and we're going to have a relationship.
Which is bananas, because attraction is a key part of how you meet somebody.
Yeah.
And right. And he's, I mean, first of all, it's Elle McPherson. Who's going to blame him? I mean,
we would all lose control.
right. I mean, she's just too beautiful. I mean, I get that, but we're constantly being hit over the head. Like, he sees women just as sex objects or mommies.
Yes.
And we're supposed to empathize with him. Like, he's supposed to be like, oh, he's a good guy. And he's not a good guy. He's someone who's very privileged and thinks he could just set the rules for everything in his life and have it go his way. And just the very fact that he can't have a conversation with a woman and have it be platonic is such incel bullshit.
It is such bullshit. So he places his ad, and Mimi Rogers like answers the ad for Rose, because Rose would never. And they agree to go to dinner, and he seems surprised that she knows what math is. He's like blown away when he's like, and then there's like 2 + 2, and she's like, and that equals 4. And he's like, what? What? I had no idea that women could understand math. What? And because she's like, because she's very plain Jane, because she's kind of frumpy, he's not attracted to her because he's a dick. It's so, why doesn't he just make some friends?
He has who's his one friend?
George Segal.
He has George Segal,
who's great.
Who's always great as like your second lead or your first character actor. He always plays the part well. He's always funny. He's always believable. It just feels like you said just now, and you were texting me like, why doesn't this guy have friends? And it's like, I don't know. It just makes no sense.
If you are lonely and want companionship, which is clear what he wants. He wants someone to like listen to his math bullshit, go to music things, go to concerts with him, go to, but not have sex with him and not be attracted to him and him not attracted to them. Then fucking make another male friend. Like,
Yeah.
why does it have to be a woman? I just couldn't wrap my head around this. And so he goes, before he goes on a date with Rose, he sits in on her romantic literature class, which we were joking about before we started recording, about how it's like her stand-up act or something.
Right.
She's not teaching anything. She's just doing a stand-up act. And all the students are like looking at her
Adoringly.
yeah, like adoringly, like she's a grilled cheese sandwich and tomato soup. Like they're just like looking at her like she's the best thing ever. And she's talking about romantic love, and she is talking about how romantic love can be a lie and it can be a manipulation. And he's like, this is the one, this is the person that I want to hang out with and not have sex with. And he leaves early before she like goes on to say, but romantic love feels amazing and that's why we do it. So he like
He misses the key point.
Yeah, he misses the whole point. And again, they go on their date and he's super impressed that she understands math.
That she has half a brain.
Yes.
I mean, she also teaches at Columbia, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
She's not a dum-dum.
Dude.
She's going to be pretty bright.
Yeah, it's like, it's just so stupid. And they go to a concert and he's such a math nerd that he has like a little like contraption that he's like watching the music on the thing. And I was like, part of me was like, is he on the spectrum? There's like a thing where he just can't read the room. Like
yeah.
And I was like, and if that's what was going on here, that's a totally different movie. And I would like to see that movie, but that's not what they're doing here. So she is interested in him because he's Jeff fucking Bridges. Like he's super tall and handsome and, smart, I guess, but not when it comes to people.
Right.
They become friends. They start hanging out all the time. And they're dating, but they're not having a relationship because she's frumpy and he's not into that.
Right.
Yeah. And then there's also a lot of stuff in this movie about the way Rose looks with her mother and her sister and how they like police what she eats.
So rude. I was so annoyed by that her own sister, like they're going through, they're at a lunch, they're at a cafeteria and Rose wants to get a piece of pie. And she's like, no sweets for you, just fruit. And I'm like, fruit has a ton of sugar, dum-dum. But why are you, your grown sister in her 40s can pick out what she likes to eat.
Yeah, it's bullshit. And her mom is the same way. Her mom, like Rose is hiding like those snowballs, she's hiding candy in her room like a child, basically, because everybody gives her shit about what she eats. This movie is so frustrating to me because, again, she's a grown woman. I'm like, don't live with your mom. Eat what you want to eat. But whatever. The movie is what it is. So they give her so much shit about food, and it's very disturbing to me. But so Gregory and Rose don't date basically for 3 months, and then he decides to propose to her. He wants to marry her. Again, I don't know why he wants to marry. Like, why do you want to get married? Like, so that she will always be around to listen to your bullshit. I don't understand.
Yes.
He is like, I want a relationship that's built on like common interests and like mutual affection, but not sex. But I'll occasionally have sex with you if you give me enough warning. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
All right. And he's like, he's super fond of her. He likes her. He cares about her as a person, but he's not attracted to her at all. At all. And then she's like, this is the best I'm going to get. I deserve a sexless marriage because I'm frumpy. That's what we're supposed to believe. But
And
she,
her sister marries, by the way.
yeah,
It's not Timothy Dalton.
no,
It's Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce
Wrong
Brosnan.
Bond.
The wrong Bond.
The wrong Bond. So Pierce Brosnan, whom we talked about when we talked about Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yes.
So here he's devastatingly handsome, and he's marrying Barbra Streisand's sister, who clearly hates the guy.
Hates him.
Doesn't respect him, just thinks he's beneath her, but he's rich and he's good looking. And
Yes.
she's like pushing 40 maybe. So she's like, I got to get married now. It's now or never. So I'm not thrilled with this guy, but I'm going to marry him. It'll look good. And then it turns out that he once dated Rose
Yes.
a long time ago, but ditched her for her sister, who clearly hates him. And so then he often pines for Rose when he's drunk and
Yes.
says weird things to her.
So it's really, really gross. And then all the stuff with Lauren Bacall is Lauren Bacall still is in this movie gorgeous. Like, and if you haven't seen like old classic Lauren Bacall movies, go back and watch them.
Yeah, they're amazing.
She's always terrific, and she was gorgeous, and and in this movie she's very much like trying to still like hold on to that, and she still wants to be the center of attention, and she wants every man to look at her, and she's that person.
Mhm.
We know people like that still
Right.
they want that sort of attention. And so because of that, Rose just has a lot of insecurities. She's very insecure. She doesn't look like her mother. She doesn't look like her sister. Rose is still beautiful. Barbra Streisand is beautiful. Duh. Surprise.
Right.
You know, but she's playing someone very frumpy, so we're supposed to believe that she's frumpy, but whatever.
She's an ugly duckling, as
Sure.
we're told. Yeah.
Yeah, so they get married, and she's signing up for this marriage that she knows isn't going to work because she wants to have sex with him.
And she also wants them to stop feeling sorry for her. So by getting married, and I've had friends tell me this, like it completely validates you as a person, especially a woman.
Yes.
Like people
Yes.
all of a sudden treat you like you're a whole person now.
Yes. Yes, this is a thing.
Mhm.
Actually, this is a good topic to get into because I feel like we're getting better about this as a culture, about not making being married the whole thing, but we're still not great at it. And there is definitely a lot of pressure to you want to feel chosen. Who are you if nobody chose you? There must be something wrong with you because you're not married, and you're not going to be okay. You can't take care of yourself. But, the thing for women is you could get married and still have to take care of yourself. So,
and take care of more
Like,
people. You're
yes.
adding to your plate to get married.
Yeah. And by the way, marriage is fucking hard work. And I don't know, it takes very special couples to like make that shit work. And it's actually kind of weird that marriage is as common as it is if we think about it. So they get married. Jeff Bridges is telling everybody, like, we're not having sex though. And I was like, why is he telling everybody that?
And why isn't anyone like shaking him by the shoulders and say, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
What is wrong with you? Get some therapy.
Yeah, I think it's mean that he's like, Rose and I aren't dating, but they are. They get married. And he's like, but we're not having sex. It's like, don't worry, everybody. I'm not actually attracted to this.
Right.
I
just want to settle down.
Yeah. And I'm like, what is the fucking point? Like, they get married in the courthouse. They go, I guess she moves into his place. They have twin beds. What the fuck? Give her own room, first of all. Like, why does she not have her own room? You're not sleeping together anyway. Why do you need to be in the same room?
Yeah, and you can just say the other one snores. And that's why you do that. I know couples that do that. Yeah.
By the way, I'm like, I would be, if for some reason I ever got married again, I would be team my own room. Like, I'm like, it's fine to have your own space. I would, by the way,
Yeah.
I'm never going to marry again. But like, it's stupid. It's purely, it's like 1950s sitcom to put them in twin beds. It's dumb. Also, they're adults, and a twin bed is basically for a child. Like, it's dumb. It totally annoys me. And then they decide to watch Lawrence of Arabia together on their wedding. I'm like, okay.
Can I pick a longer movie?
So now they're married, but the relationship is beginning to be more emotionally intimate, I guess. Like, they spend a lot of time together. They are really getting to know each other. And surprise, they're starting to fall in love. She's already in love with him.
Right.
And now he's going to finally fucking catch up. Welcome to the party, pal. She's already in love with you. Like, they go to dinner, and like, he happens to know how she likes her food. And she's like, "Aw." And that's when he realizes that maybe he's attracted to her, and he instantly starts like fucking loses control of his body. Can't hold a fork, like practically falls out of a chair because he gets a hard on. I don't know what's happening. This movie's ridiculous.
Yes.
She tells him one morning, like, "Hey, I would like to have sex. Is this enough warning for you?" And so he's like,
because he's leaving, right?
Yeah,
he's leaving for a trip.
Yeah, he's getting ready to leave for a trip. And she's like, "Hey, I'd love to, like, get some of that D.
Yeah, vitamin D.
I'd like a little vitamin D before you hit your book tour in Europe." And he is like, sure, I could like totally accommodate you in that way. And they try to set the mood. It's like super awkward. They start making out, and then it gets pretty passionate because, surprise, he's into her. Like, he's actually in love with her. And because he doesn't like losing control, he stops everything. He makes her feel ugly, and he says that sex is going to ruin the whole relationship, and that he didn't really want to have sex with her. It's very dumb. If they actually continued the conversation, they could have worked out this movie, and we could have ended it at 90 minutes, but instead it goes on for another 30 minutes.
Oh my God, it's so long.
It's so long. And like, he like goes off on her and says that like sex is going to ruin everything. He says that it's like female manipulation. It's incel talk is what it is. And she is so rejected by what he says that like, she leaves. She goes home. She goes back to her mother's, and she says like, he made her feel ugly. And I was like, that's the worst feeling. It's so horrible when like someone
Rejects you.
Yeah, someone you're attracted to makes you feel ugly. It's the
who's married
worst.
to you, by the way. Yeah, and he's known you for months. You've spent every single day together.
Yeah, like she does a really good job in that scene. Like, it is a horrible, horrible feeling. And she does do a good job. And she goes home and she has a good talk with Lauren Bacall. And this is probably the stuff that gets Lauren Bacall her Oscar nomination, about like, how did it feel to be beautiful when you were younger? And, she's really honest about like, it's amazing.
It was great. Yeah. I had a great time.
Like, it was great to like be beautiful and have everyone look at you. And like, as someone who has struggled with self-esteem in my life, like, that conversation like hit a soft spot. And I was like, I feel like there's like a good thing in this movie, but it's lost in all this other shit. Like all this like incel garbage.
It's also it's tracking with Streisand and her relationship to, I mean, herself, but also the media relationship with her. So she's been fighting forever. She started on Broadway in the 60s. Like from the day she started in show business, it's what are you going to do about that nose?
Right.
That nose is a problem. What are we going to do about it? No, you're not leading lady. You'll never be a leading lady. And she's two things. One, she likes her nose, but she also says that could completely change my singing voice. And that is my true gift and my true talent and the thing I care about the most and I want to take care of. So a lot of Barbra Streisand, it's like in these movies in the 70s, especially, it's like, damn, Barbara's sexy. Barbara's hot.
Yeah.
Barbara with a perm, Barbara with a blonde wig, Barbara, with anything. But there's always been that talk like, oh, she's kind of sexy. And like, yeah, there she is. But I get that could be for her, especially that would be a sore spot, right?
Right.
And so here she has this mother and sister who are just drop dead beautiful. And you feel by comparison, you feel lesser than, and that has to be painful. But it's also Barbara's kind of working out her psychology on the audience.
Yeah.
By having her mother admit that she misses, like, didn't you used to be beautiful, Mom? Wasn't it great? Now it's not here anymore. It felt like to me.
Right.
And I was like, I mean, she still looks great.
Yeah, she does. And the stuff you're describing would be a way better movie. If that's what the movie was. At the core, that is what the movie's about, but you have to look for it. Like, it's not, because that stuff is interesting. Like, that is original. All the other stuff is like, there's a lot of like sitcom-y weird stuff too, about like where she like goes to on the date and like the cab windows don't roll up. So like
she looks terrible when she gets there.
Yeah, or like he calls her to ask her out and like she doesn't know how to work a remote apparently, and the TV volume keeps going up and down and the stereo comes up. There's all this weird like sitcom stuff, but in that like heart to heart with her mom is the much more interesting movie that has something to say. But you have to sit through all this other stuff to get for it, and you have to really look for it.
Yeah.
And most people aren't. Most people are just watching it and going, it's Barbra Streisand, yay! Like, so she moves back in with her mom. She refuses to talk to Jeff Bridges, and he goes on his book tour, and he calls like constantly, and she doesn't take his calls. And then she decides what she really needs is a makeover.
Yeah. I need to improve my appearance.
Yes, exactly. And there's like two messages here. One is that the truth is Rose was fine the way she was. But
absolutely.
But also like Rose was not fine with the way Rose was. So I'm like, hey, if Rose wants to do all these things and it makes her feel better, good for Rose.
Right.
But I also think there's this, no, you must conform and be more stereotypically attractive.
Yeah, you should be working your ass off to be good looking in our eyes, not in your self-esteem.
Yeah.
So get blonder, get thinner.
Yes.
And so she does. She has this makeover. And apparently, and oh, by the way, I listened to, it was like 30 hours, Barbra Streisand's memoir.
Yes.
Which is on Spotify, I believe. I was just listening to Shares, which is really good. But anyway, when she talks, I mean, she's super intelligent. She's always done her own hair and makeup for all her movies.
Oh.
Because she knows exactly like how she wants it done. She's very much a hands-on person.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. And so when they announced that she's the director, I'm like, I wonder what her ideas she wants are going to come through. And it didn't surprise me really, but I was actually kind of saddened that she had to make herself hot in order to be worthy of Jeff Bridges. That's what I saw.
Yeah, that's what I saw too. And again, like if I'm trying to like make the movie work for me, I could be like, well, she did it for herself. But I don't think she's doing it for herself. I think she's doing it for him.
She's doing it for him.
Yeah. And so, she's eating food with no oil or butter. I'm like, no taste. And, she's like, trust me, it's good. And I don't know. Like, and then she has this very sweet conversation with her best friend, Brenda.
Vaccaro.
Yeah. Who's great. Like, she's one of those people that when she shows up, like, I'm like, oh, I love her. And she's like, I always thought like we would be in this together. And it's basically like, I thought you would stay frumpy with me.
Right.
And she's like, here, I'll split the burger with you or cake with you or whatever. It's like, okay. All right. That's what we're doing. And then we cut back to her teaching her class now, and she's had a makeover, and all of her students are like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And she's
I have breath.
Yeah,
yes, I have breath.
She's so inappropriate. Yes, I have breasts, and you can't write papers about them. I'm just like, what is this class?
What is this bizarre class?
And and meanwhile, Jeff Bridges like being a huge dick. Like he's a huge dick to his students. Like because of his failing marriage, he's taking his shit out on them. And then Barbra Streisand's sister, Mimi Rogers, starts having an affair on Pierce Brosnan.
Just like a couple of months after they got married, too.
Yeah.
It's like right away, she's like, yeah, then the romance is gone. I'm sick of him.
Yeah, I'm all done. Like, so she's having an affair with her massage therapist or something. And he instantly is like, well, hello, Rose. Like, come on up. And, he's super into her because she's had her makeover. So they're like making out and whatever. And she realizes, oh, he's a total creep. And the fantasy of Pierce Brosnan is better than the reality. So she leaves, which honestly must have been very satisfying to be like, I was so in love with you and now you want me and you can't have me. Peace out. I get it. Let's see what else happens. Oh, Gregory comes back from his book tour and she agrees to like have dinner with him. And he like is blown away by her makeover, but also doesn't like it because he'll just walk around with a heart on the time, I guess. I don't know. And like, and then she's like, this isn't good enough for me, bye, and kicks him out. And then he just starts like whining and crying to George Segal, who's doing the Lord's work, and telling him to stop being such a stupid asshole and get her back. And so he shows up at her house and like yells outside of her window like people are always doing in movies in New York. And then
Maria!
And all the neighbors are like, shut up! Shut up down there. And she comes out and he's like, I'm so in love with you. And she's like, I love you. And then they make out and then proceed to dance in the middle of the street. And it goes on for the entire ending credits to the song I Finally Found Someone with Barbra Streisand and Bryan Adams. And I hate the end credits so much.
I told you, we talked about this yesterday before we recorded our other show. I said to you, that ending is so long and so cringy.
Cringy.
I started fast forwarding because I'm like, oh, come on, let's just get to the point.
Yeah.
I think this movie, it is watchable. I mean, I will say that. Like, it's not.
I mean, it's a competently made movie.
Right. But there's, like at one point, I like the parts where he's impressed with her and how she's able to communicate to her students, and he lacks that.
Yeah.
He's a little robotic. So she's trying to help him out. This is how you talk to people. This is how you make connections to people to help them get to the conclusions themselves. And
yes.
And he does kind of try one of her, if that baseball player, what if only the son of a bitch could hit?
Yeah.
But it kind of just stops there. He doesn't really transform.
She does a lot to help him.
Mm-hmm.
You could see what he would get out of this marriage, actually. And she gets a makeover. That's what she gets out of it. She got a makeover. Okay.
Well, she got a makeover and she's got someone who now worships her, which is what she wanted too.
Yeah. I guess that's true.
So she's manifested that, but it is, and I love a good makeover scene, and I like a
I'm not
transformation.
a monster. I love that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's human nature to enjoy that kind of thing. But in here, I found it a little disappointing.
Yeah.
I wish that the people around her, including her, had more respect for her intelligence and her uniqueness, and how smart and clever that she is, and has an interesting way of looking at the world, and she seems to really connect to people.
Yeah.
And that should be enough for people to be like, wow, that's a human being that should be able to exist in any way they want. I shouldn't have to throw, and she needs a man on top of that. That's where I get annoyed.
Yeah, Rose was fine the way she was. If Rose wanted to get a makeover to feel better about herself for herself, I'm team Rose. Like, yeah. But the fact that I don't think the movie is saying that. I think the movie is saying that she's doing it for male gaze.
Yes.
And that bums me out. It's not what I want for her.
Especially in a movie directed by a woman.
Yes, exactly.
And the way she's like lit so gorgeously.
Oh my God, so gorgeous.
I was like, could she take my pictures? Like, could she be the photo director for that? Because she knows how to make herself look great.
Yeah.
The nails and the hair like looks kind of flouncy, but it actually takes work to achieve that.
Yeah.
But yeah, she truly does transform. I mean, she looks great.
Yes.
And I love Barbra Streisand too.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's, I think, better movies to watch to get your Barbra Streisand fix than this one.
For sure. But yeah, this movie is it's telling a lot of different stories, but I don't think it ends satisfactorily. And I think it winds up being kind of ageist and sexist.
Yes, I agree. And I think why I hate the dancing over the end credits so much is it's a victory lap for a movie that doesn't deserve a victory lap.
Right.
And it's feeling like, I don't know, you're going to love these characters so much that you'll want to
get together in the end.
Yeah, that you'll want to
stay
sit
together
through the credits and watch them half-ass dance and act like goofballs for the entire run of the song. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. I don't. This isn't a great love story. I don't want to spend extra time with them. I've already spent too much time with them.
It would have been nice if they had had a conversation where he could say to her, I took you for granted, and I went into this with the worst mindset. Like, I wasn't being fair to you.
Yeah.
And here you are, you're blossoming, and I realize I'm lucky enough to be married to you. And like, can we at least try to make this work? Can we move forward? Acknowledging that, like, and I thought you were beautiful before and interesting before. Like,
right.
And if you want to do all this, great. But you don't have to. And I see now why we're such a good fit for each other. And that would have made a bit more humane. I think it just would have been more interesting. I just think, just to kind of toss it to be just a silly little musical number at the end.
Yeah.
When they were talking about some intense themes.
Yeah. Well, and the conversation you're mentioning would go a long way in making this movie better.
Yeah.
That the little dance over an end credit does nothing except sell the song.
It sells the song, and the song was on the charts. It did very well at the time.
Yes, it did. It's nominated for Oscars, all the things.
Yeah. I don't have anything against that song, but I would do a lot of things differently, but I would end the movie differently. I would end with I don't know, getting bagels or something like that near Central Park and just having like an honest conversation.
Right.
Like, this is, this is what was going on then we got married. This is how I felt when I was away from you. Now I come home and you've transformed, and I realize I love you and I miss you, and I should have considered you more, considered your feelings more. I was selfish. I was just doing something for myself, and you don't have to break up your back to earn my approval. Like, I need to show up more.
But they dance and make out in the street, Margo.
I know. I'm asking for something that would be very hard to find now versus 25 years ago when this movie comes out. I just found it, I once again, I love Barbra Streisand.
Yes. We're fans. We're fans.
We're definitely fans here. We've talked about The Way We Were. We've talked about other movies she was in, and George Segal. I like everybody here. I think Lauren Bacall is excellent and is the most interesting person in this movie.
For sure. I think there's some really interesting things in this movie that they don't explore. And the stuff they do explore, I'm like, it's yucky. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me feel good. It's basic. You're basic.
It's basic. It's formulaic. And then once again, it's Barbara's insecurities that she's like projecting onto all of us. Like, I really am beautiful, right?
See?
You're like, yeah, we know, dude. You have that voice of a generation.
Yeah.
Like, and you're smart. And when she's not funny. She doesn't have a great sense of humor, and I think, like, if she had more of a sense of humor, it could have, because when she's trying to do jokes here, it's like, ooh, it's like Bruce Valanche wrote them. It's kind of like variety special jokes.
Such a good way to describe it. Bruce Valanche wrote them.
So there's like several movies going on here.
I'll take the center square. That's such a good description.
Wearing like a Muppets shirt or something, like, just, but that's the level. It's Borscht Belt. It's TV variety show humor.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have been in the audience with like a bunch of snarky gay men. I mean, that would probably be amazing.
That's true. I would like to Mystery Science Theater with this one.
Yeah, I think that would be more fun. Or maybe we could talk Patrick for F This Movie Fest.
That would be
those
amazing.
Dudes would really hate it. I mean,
oh my God, it would be so good. That would be 2 hours of just nonstop jokes.
Yeah,
that would be the best way to watch it.
I think that's the way to do it. It looks great. Everybody's good in it.
Yes.
It's a beautiful love letter to New York.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the variety of people we have here and all that stuff. But ultimately it's a vanity project.
Yes.
And vanity projects are tough to win me over because I feel like I'm being manipulated.
Yes, that's exactly it. It's manipulative. Sorry, everybody. I'm a little congested. So,
God damn you, soda.
I know I'm the worst. How dare I be human?
Yeah.
Would you like to hear some of so it was nominated for Best Supporting Actress. And I thought maybe we'd like to, and for Original Song. And I thought maybe instead of other movies from 96, since we just did a 96 movie, we'd like to hear the other nominees.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Is this Oscars?
Oscars.
Okay.
So for Best Supporting Actress, Lauren Bacall was nominated. Also deserves it. She's very good. Honestly, I thought she was going to win. I thought this was going to be one of those like compilation Oscars.
With the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah, she was my pick, and she did not win. Other nominees were Marianne Jean-Baptiste for Secrets and Lies.
A movie I can't sit through.
Oh.
Isn't that the one Mike Lee movie?
Yes.
Where it's Brenda Fricker?
Yes.
And And she keeps calling her sweetie, darling. Is
Yeah.
that the one? She's like having a meltdown.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a tough
that movie's
one.
tough. It's a tough one to sit through, but she's always good in whatever she does. And she has a movie out right now that's doing that's getting high praise from critics.
I forget the name of the movie. But it's another Mike Lee movie, I think, isn't it?
Maybe she's one of his players.
Yeah, I will definitely see it. Other people nominated Barbara Hershey for Portrait of a Lady.
Never seen it.
I've never seen that one either. I love Barbara Hershey though. And then
yeah.
Joan Allen for The Crucible. The movie's hilarious.
That movie's a riot. Oh my God.
Y'all should maybe. I think a lot of people in America need to watch The Crucible again. Like, did y'all not read that in class?
Is Winona Ryder in that movie?
Yes.
My friend worked on that movie in the art department.
Yeah, it's a really well done version of that story for sure. And Joan Allen's really good in it. But the winner was Juliette Binoche for The English Patient.
We have thoughts about The English Patient, but
Yeah,
she's good in it.
She is good in it. I don't know if I'm like, maybe I would like The English Patient more now, but boy, I really didn't at the time. And I was alone in that, except for Elaine on Seinfeld.
Same.
Okay, best original song. I Finally Found Someone with Barbra Streisand and Bryan Adams was nominated. Also nominated Because You Loved Me from Up Close and Personal.
It's a great song.
Yeah, that movie is on our list for sure.
Yep.
We will get to it because it's bananas. Here's the one I think should have won. That Thing You Do from That Thing You Do.
Absolutely. How did that not win?
That song, first of all,
Catchy.
so catchy. And it does exactly what it's supposed to do in that movie. Because if the song doesn't work,
then you don't believe the band.
Yes. It's such a good song. And
that's not
such a good
easy to
movie.
do.
It's such a good movie too. So sweet. I love that movie. For the First Time from One Fine Day. I don't even know that song.
No. Is that the one Michelle Pfeiffer and George Clooney?
Yeah, we talked about it. We did a trio of romantic movies with Adam. We did One Fine Day, The Lake House, and The Notebook.
Wow, you have a good memory.
I like One Fine Day. I think it's insanely watchable. But
yeah, it's cute.
I don't remember that song at all. And then I already mentioned I Finally Found Someone. And then the winner was You Must Love Me from Evita. Sorry.
Evita, Evita. Okay.
Like, this song was everywhere. Like, people loved that movie. The people who loved it. That's for sure. I wasn't one of them, but whatever. And that's it for the Oscar nominations.
Oh, so do you want to hear the top 10 songs for when this came out?
Yes.
It's the top 10 songs, November 15th, 1996. So some of them are going to sound familiar. Number 10, This Is for the Lover in You, Babyface.
I don't know that song.
With LL Cool J? Okay.
Oh, maybe if I heard it, I would be like, oh yeah, that one.
Yeah. Where Do You Go from No Mercy?
Oh, I know that. Where do you go?
Yep.
Yep.
Pony by Genuine.
Oh yeah, well, everyone knows that song. Thanks, Magic Mike.
Nobody by Keith Sweat.
I don't know.
Number 6, Mouth by Meryl Bainbridge.
Oh, I think I know that it's just about like, I want to kiss your mouth. That's all it is.
I got nothing. Number 5, Donna Lewis, I Love You Always Forever.
Oh yeah. That song is still like on the, like, you're going to know what I'm talking about. It's on Coit all the time.
Oh, I know Coit. Coit FM.
Yeah.
Easy listening station.
Easy listening station that always plays in all the grocery stores and things like that. And you'll hear that song.
Oh my God. Boyd FM.
I
Boy,
know.
that's a blast from my past. Number 4, Los Del Rio, Macarena. Couldn't escape that.
No, you could not. Every wedding.
Number 3. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, sorry. The next one is Unbreak My Heart by Tony Braxton.
Yeah, we love Tony Braxton here. Big fans.
And the number 1 song is It's All Coming Back to Me Now by Celine Dion, which is a great song.
Yeah. I mean, she's a beautiful singer. Surprise. Hot take here, everybody. Celine Dion's a beautiful singer. It's a good song. It's definitely one I like to sing alone in the car. What else are you dorking out about, my friend?
So Joker 2, Folie à Deux.
Did you
Folie à
watch
Deux?
it?
It's streaming on Max. So watched it. It was a good 10 minutes before I started just hitting the fast forward button. And I'm like, I have a feeling I know what's about to happen. And so I did it in like 30 minutes, I think. This 2.5-hour movie. I kept pushing
so much.
because they start to do a song and I'm like, okay, he's breaking into song now. And then it would go on and on and on. And then sometimes the song is like on the radio. Sometimes it's the song. It's just River Phoenix. No. Leaf Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix. Sorry, you guys.
No, he used to be Leaf Phoenix.
He used to be Leaf Phoenix, right? So Joaquin Phoenix, who also you could tell. I mean, he's doing everything. Did you see it?
I have not seen it. I didn't even see the first one. Should I?
No, I hate the first one. That's just me. That's me. I found it very misogynistic. I found it written by incels. I think it's one of those movies I think that demonizes mental health issues. I know it made $1 billion, so I'm in the minority.
I didn't see it not as some sort of like protest. Like I'm not seeing that. It was like I truly believed I was like, well, this one's not for me. Like I don't think I'm gonna like it.
Yeah.
So I just didn't watch it. And then I saw the preview for the second one and it has Lady Gaga and I love her. And I was like,
we do.
Yeah. And I was like, maybe I just watched the second one, but sounds like
so it's 2.5 hours. It opens looking like a Tex Avery cartoon, the Bugs Bunny days, like Looney Tunes. And so Arthur Fleck is going to go to trial as the Joker for killing people because it is like the law is the law.
Yeah, he did all these things in the first movie, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a long time that we're at Arkham prison or the mental hospital, whatever, Arkham, the state hospital, Arkham. And it's just a long process of him being there. He meets Lady Gaga there. She barely talks in this movie. It's a lot of longing glances. And then she breaks out in song as well. But there's so many pieces, like honest to God, and like these musical montages go on for well over 5 minutes.
Okay.
So it's the beginning, middle, end of a song. So they're going through a whole song, and it's Arthur getting the shit kicked out of him in Arkham prison, and then Arthur goes to trial and he's his own lawyer, so he dresses like the Joker as a lawyer, and the judge is like, "Hey, don't play up for the cameras. I'm warning you." And it's like he's wearing the Joker makeup, sir. Your Honor,
I object to the whole thing.
All decorum is out the window here. But yeah, it just ends on this total bummer note, and it's just depressing and really long. And I just could not engage with it.
Okay.
And like I said, I skimmed through it. It may be 30, 40 minutes tops. I just kept pushing the phone. And I was like, if I were in a movie theater, this would have driven me crazy. This would legit drive me nuts because it's just a lot of like, did you like Joaquin Phoenix the first time around being this edgy, miserable human being? Well, we're going to make it even 10 times worse this time.
It sounds like this is another one not for me.
No.
Okay.
I don't know who this is for. I mean, I know I know there are people that are going to say, you don't get it. It's brilliant. It's because it is doing a thing.
Yeah.
I just don't think it does it well. I
I
just don't.
really, really hate it when people say you just didn't get it as a reason for why I didn't enjoy something. I'm like,
Yes.
no, I get it. I get it.
I don't think it achieved what it was supposed to
Yeah.
achieve.
Okay, that's going to be a pass then.
Yeah. I also started the Queer Eye for the Straight Guy has a new season. Are you watching it?
Yes. Yes. Every episode. It's me every episode. I was hesitant because of they have a new person on to do the
home stuff.
Yeah, the home design stuff, and I was hesitant with him, but I watched the first 2 episodes and I was like, he does a good job. Like,
He does.
yeah, he seems lovely. I love his reaction to when they're unveiling everything to the people and the people just cry, and then he instantly starts crying and he's like, is this what you guys do every time? He's like, this show's gonna kill me. It's so good.
It's good. It's so good. It always like makes us happy.
Yeah.
And then I have Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills, what a thrill. Bananas season, just a banana season. And that's all we'll say about that. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, though, just
So
improves every week. It does even better than it did before. And one week you like a person, the next week you think they're annoying. It's like it's the perfect show, you know. And this time they're going to Puerto Vallarta,
Yes.
Mexico, and Lisa's in charge of the trip now. And Bronwyn's controlling and instincts are really on display here.
Mhm.
Like I felt like she was not a go along to get along person. Like if she's not one of those attention whores, like if she doesn't get attention or the kind of attention she wants, or deference maybe is where she wants, she gets very childish.
Yeah.
And so she, like, her complaining about like, why did you put me here versus here? It's like, you're there for a weekend. It's, you just also she was attacked by a dog. She shows up with dog bites all over and it looks terrible and terrifying.
Okay. I learned a little bit more about that. I think I sent you the TikTok because I was like, this is fascinating to me. So, like, first of all, those wounds look terrible.
Yeah.
She was bit like over 30 times, apparently. And so Bronwyn went to the dog park with her. She has like 3 or 4 dogs, I forget. And she took him to the dog park, and somebody there had a foster dog, and they went to take a call, which you shouldn't do. You should stay with your dog. But what happened. And Bronwyn like put her hand out for the dog to smell her, and like so she could pet the dog, and the dog, something went wrong, and the dog attacked her and like bit her. And instead of, there's a way you're supposed to react, like where you like stay calm and like, but it's hard to do when somebody
When you're being attacked by an animal.
And so
Yeah.
like she started flailing and lashing out or whatever, and the dog just kept biting her. And then she found out that the dog was a foster and that the dog had been rescued and now could be like a candidate to be euthanized. And instead, like, she has said like the dog shouldn't be euthanized, and she's paying for the dog to get treatment.
Aw.
And like make sure that the dog gets a good home.
That's so sweet.
And I was like, that's a good person. Like,
yeah.
deep down, I was like, a person who takes care of dogs has a special place for me. So
Oh,
like,
absolutely. And I do too. I think yeah, so she's going in there scarred from that experience.
yeah.
But
But she's
now
also looking to pick a fight.
yeah, I mean, she was looking to pick a fight, and it was Lisa did her thing, the housewife thing, which is you assign people rooms and you put them in 2 different camps, and there's one camp that's always going to feel lesser than,
They always
And-
fight over rooms.
and they fight over rooms. Mary can't show up yet; she's going to be a little late, so she would have been a more calming influence. But it's like it's just pardon the expression, but yeah, Bronwyn's got a bone to pick with her, right? Yeah, she's a dog with a bone, and she has that bone she wants to pick with Lisa about all that, like their amazing friendship that she's not honoring. And it's like, you're on a show and everyone's going to behave a little differently because they're on camera.
Yeah. And I think that what Bronwyn is experiencing is the Lisa she knows off camera is not the Lisa she's seen on camera. And how do you reconcile those things? And I don't think you can. Like, Lisa's got it dialed up to 100 when she's filming, that she probably is not like that.
I think so too, but then they go out. So Bronwyn goes out with Lisa and her husband John, and I don't know if we talked about this before, but John tells her Bronwyn's daughter never knew her birth father. Bronwyn was at BYU. She got pregnant her freshman or sophomore year, and the father's family basically disowned her and disowned their grandchild. And the father died a couple of years after Gwen was born. So now she's 18, and because it's a Mormon community in Utah, like Lisa knows Gwen's grandparents, so she's sort of like this in between for them. And it's Bronwyn's husband John was adopted, and he didn't. And Lisa's like, we got to know who your parents are, and he didn't want to know because he was worried it would be a bad story, and he's just not emotionally prepared for that. Like, he had a good life, he loves his parents who raised him and stuff like that. Lisa ignored it all and had his DNA tested, got it through 23andMe, and found him with his cousins, and then told him, and then like introduced him to them. Like, she set up a whole thing, and his birth mother basically rejected him and said, I forgot about you right as soon as I gave birth to you. Which is
so
painful.
hurtful. Like,
it is the most hurtful thing. And it was the thing he feared the most.
Yeah.
And, and he specifically said, I don't want to go down this route. And she does it anyway.
Yeah.
So she's someone who just does what she wants to do.
Yes.
And so you just have to, like, that's a thing you have to kind of know about her.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was funny. Meredith Brooks, talking about kicking Angie out of her bar mitzvah. It's not a place for shaming people.
She's so ridiculous. She is so ridiculous. She wants to claim like a moral high ground here. Like, you are slut shaming, and that is just not what we do at bat mitzvahs. So you are out of here. And it's like, first of all, just admit you don't like Angie and you wanted to kick her out because she's trying to get this like moral high ground about it. First of all, Brittany's like the thirstiest fucking bitch I've seen on reality TV in a long time. Like, so thirsty, wants to be a part of the mix so bad. Even when she's being used as like a pawn, she's like, I'm fine with that. I'll allow it because she just wants to be part of the group. And like, Brittany is trying to pretend that she's not sleeping with people that she's dating.
Right.
Which she is. And that's fine. Girl, just own it. Like, and pretends that she doesn't drink when she's literally drinking.
In every episode.
Drinking. Yeah, she's drinking and saying, how dare you bring wine to my prayer thing? And it's like, bitch, you're drinking right now. Like, what are you talking about?
It's the patriarchy is alive and well in Salt Lake City.
Yes.
It's very much, and also you find out that she's had a couple of marriages, and her second marriage was really bad, and he was very controlling, and she put him ahead of her own daughters.
Yeah.
And now her young daughters have very little contact with her. So at one point she even says, because she's always having these alerts, like she taps the glass.
Like, I have an
announcement. And she says, I have been in touch with my daughters. We don't really talk very much. And we met and it was really nice. And not a single peep out of anybody because they don't care.
Yeah. And she's like, I can't believe that they don't care. And they're like, they don't know you.
They don't know you. And also they're all like, most of them are mothers and they don't understand. Like, why on earth would you put a man over your children? Why would you ever do that?
Well, also like don't announce it. This isn't You could talk to them. Just talk to them. Just talk to these women. You don't need to like ding, 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 ding. Guess what, everybody? I don't have chlamydia. Like, just talk to people. Just talk to them. What are you doing? Like,
Well, she's the classic theater kid.
yeah,
Like she
totally.
and she can sing, and she's toured a national company of Miss Saigon. Like she's not without talent. But now she does development properties in Utah. She's not really acting anymore, but she's on the, I mean, she even says like to Bronwyn, when Bronwyn's like, why are you excluding me? And she just, maybe she likes me more now. It's like,
Up.
how old are you? Like,
What a bunch of mean girl. It's like
There's-
mean girl behavior.
it's a bunch of women that are emotionally teenagers,
Yeah.
which is part of the fascination with
Yeah.
it. Like there just is. But I'm very excited for Mary to come back next week.
I say this every season of the show. It just delivers. It's so entertaining.
1 second you're upset because Mary is talking about her son's addiction problems with
Yeah.
Angie, and Angie promises not to say anything. And
I hope she keeps that promise.
yeah, we hope she does. We're not sure about that.
Yeah.
But then they go to Meredith's house. Everybody is vocal fry, and they're all just tolerating Meredith. Like they all think she's like the fool, but they just put up with her.
Yeah.
It's just so great. It's just so great.
And the week before at the bar mitzvah, like Angie owns a salon and like works with hair, and for her to tell Brittany that she has high body count hair.
And then
I will
Lisa
never not laugh.
whispers to her later and says, but you do need to try the Keratess formula for your hair. So Keratess it's been trending on all social media because everyone is now taking their Keratess products and they're like taking pictures of it and putting it on social media.
So funny.
And Keratess is now working with who am I talking about? The one that's the actress. I forget her name all of a sudden.
Which actress?
Sonia, help me.
Brittany?
Thank you. Brittany was on Watch What Happens Live with Heather, and she lost they had all this popular voting from the audience. She lost everyone, and she couldn't understand, and she had a meltdown, and she kept trying to be funny. And Heather is sitting next to her and is just like dying inside. You could just tell that Heather just cannot stand this woman. It was so great.
It's giving me Leah Michelle energy.
Yes. And supposedly she's a nightmare.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's so good.
It is so good.
Is there anything else on your list?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, I've got a few things. We haven't done this in a little while, so I'll try to go through my list quickly. Speaking of musicals, I watched Emilia Perez on Netflix. Have you watched that one yet?
No.
Okay, it's nominated for a bunch of Golden Globes, so I was like, I guess I'll check this out. And it stars Carla Sofia Gasson. Zoe Saldana is actually the real star. Selena Gomez, and it's very interesting. It's Zoe Saldana plays a lawyer in Mexico who is approached by like a cartel leader who wants to transition to a woman and wants her to help him become his authentic self. And so, but it's a musical and it's like this really gritty drama at the same time. And he is married to Selena Gomez and they have 2 children, and he doesn't want her to know or the children to know. So Zoe Saldana like helps him get that, and then he like kind of inserts himself back into Selena Gomez's life as like an aunt, and he tries to manipulate her and keep the kids in his life and all that. And on top of all of this, it's a musical.
That sounds like a lot.
It's a lot. And let me tell you, I love musicals. Love. And Zoe Saldana is a star in this movie, and like she's probably going to be nominated for things, and I would be cool if she won. I think she's really, really good. But every time they started singing in the movie, I was like, I wish this wasn't a musical. Because the story's really good. It's a really good story. And it's like very dramatic. And like, I was just so into it. And then it stops for a musical number. And I'm like, oh,
Right.
oh. And I was just really bummed by that. Because I love musicals. Sorry, my dogs are freaking out and y'all can't hear it, but I can hear it. So anyway, it's on Netflix if you want to watch it. I'm wondering if you would have the same reaction where it's like you would just fast forward through the musical numbers.
I probably,
because it's
my thumb's thinking about it right now.
Like if they released a version where they cut out all the musical numbers, I would probably rewatch it and be curious if it would work for me more that way. Because the performances are really good. The story is super interesting, but the musical numbers just took me out of it. And yeah, so I'm mixed. Also, speaking of mixed, I watched Conclave on Peacock, which is the movie with Ralph Fiennes and Isabella Rossellini and John Lithgow, Stanley Tucci, and it's like about picking the new pope. And it's a thriller. I liked it. It felt like a perfect like rainy night thriller to watch at home. If I saw in the theater, I probably would have been bored. But at home, it felt appropriate. But this one also had an ending where I was like, what? That's what we're doing? That I didn't see coming. Before that, I don't know how they pick popes, and I'm Catholic. I don't know what goes on when they're all sequestered in there. So I was very curious. Thought it was super interesting watching like the different factions between like people who are more traditional towards more progressive, like how they are like trying to pick their new pope. And I mean, it's basically a metaphor for our current elections is what's happening here. Like, how do we move forward? People who want to go back. But then there's this whole other story that's going on, and I can't spoil it. But the ending like throws this thing in the end where I was like, it felt unsatisfactory, the ending.
Okay.
Like if it had stuck the landing, I would like the movie a lot more. And I think Ralph Fiennes is very good in it. So it's a passable thriller. It's nominated for stuff and like critics are loving it. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's not that good of a year for movies. If this is the one y'all are putting on your top 10, but all right then. I watched the Girls Gone Wild documentary series on Peacock.
Yeah.
We talked about it on our What a Creep episode. It's disturbing, but it is also a really good insight into how we got to the manosphere that we're all living in right now with podcasters and our current election and all of that. So I think it's worth watching. There's a lot of great interviews with people who worked on Girls Gone Wild, a lot of insight into how they got the footage that they got. It's not just they show up at spring break and start filming. It's how they manipulate those women. It's really good stuff. I recommend it.
But it can be depressing too, right?
It's super depressing, and y'all also trigger warning for that one. There is sexual assault and what was the other thing? Well, I was going to say tax evasion. That's what we talk about on What a Creep. Sorry, everyone. There is a trigger warning there, so take care. If that is very triggering for you, the show is not for you because they do really they go deep on that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Another documentary recommended to us by Adam Risky was the Casa Bonita Mi Amor. It's on Paramount Plus, and it is about Trey Parker, Matt Stone invested in a Mexican restaurant in Denver, Colorado that's very popular called Casa Bonita. And it's like a Disneyland of Mexican restaurants. It has like all these caves and themes and all these little tunnels that you could go through. And kids love Casa Bonita, and they were closing it. So Trey Parker and Matt Stone bought it. And they're thinking, oh, we're going to invest like $6 million and fix it up. And it turns out they end up investing like it's a money pit. And they end up investing like $40 million into working on this. And it's all about like how they rebuilt it and how they reopen it. But it's also about like, did you ever watch the documentary on Disney Plus about called The Imagineers?
Yeah, I love the Imagineers.
Okay, I love the Imagineers too, because it is all about like how they created the rides and the experiences at Disneyland, and how
Yeah.
they think about people's experiences and the feeling that you're trying to invoke. And there's a little bit of this here where like Trey Parker in particular is trying to think about how to recreate the experiences he had as a child there. He is constantly thinking about the people who are going there. He's not
Which
just,
is good.
Yes, exactly. Like he does come across as a little bit insufferable, but I think there was a good intent here. He is trying to put himself in the place of people who are coming and actually experiencing the restaurant. Like he cares enough to like find a really good chef. They all go to like Mexico to like try a bunch of different food and figure out what kind of food they want to serve at this restaurant. He is thinking about, there's a whole thing where they have cliff divers in the restaurant. Like, and he's just like, how do we make that feel really special for people? Like, how do we give kids room to explore, but also keep them safe? You know,
All good questions.
all good questions. And I was like, as someone who works in like in design experience at my work, I think about stuff like that, where it's like, what do people think when they land on this page? What are they trying to do? So to see it like being played out on a larger scale involving millions of dollars was super, super interesting to me. It made me want to go there for sure. I was like, dorking out field trip. We all need to go to Casa Bonita. My best friend Kate went. She says it looks amazing inside. She bought a Casa Bonita holiday sweater. She sent me a picture yesterday. It's adorable. Everybody drink.
So they have good food and it is a good environment. Like
Yes.
it's still open?
Yeah, it's open now, and it's doing really well. Like people were very excited about the reopening. They definitely added some like South Park humor stuff with like talking skeletons and things like that. It looks really fun. I'm like, I would go there. I think it's
I want to go to Denver. I have never been there.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. The Casa Bonita, Mi Amor, it's streaming on Paramount Plus. And then the last one I'm going to talk about is a reality show on Netflix called The Later Daters, which I think ties in very nicely here to The Mirror Has Two Faces. And it's about people 55 and up, like they see a dating coach and then they're like being set up on dates. And I thought it was very interesting to see women who are like, I think all the women on the show are 60 and up. And they just have a very good idea of who they are and what they want. And then the men are like, I want to go out with Penelope Cruz. It's like, LOL. I have some thoughts about some of the men on the show, but maybe that's by design. I think it's it's really well done. It's like 6 episodes. They're each like 40 minutes or something like that. The casting there's a lot of the women are they're very fun. They know who they are. They know what they want. If you like dating shows like I do, I think it's worth watching. So that's on Netflix. That's a really long list we gave people.
Yeah. That's a recommendation.
I know. So put all that stuff on your list, y'all. If you like the sound of our voices, put What a Creep on your list. We talk about creeps to the past, to the present. Right now, we're talking about Girls Gone Wild and Joe Francis. It's a replay of a past episode. We updated it with information from the documentary. We end every episode with someone who's not a creep. So you'll leave the episode feeling like the world isn't a complete waste of time. So enjoy that. My friend, where can people find you?
You can find me at brooklynfitchick.com, and I'm at brooklynfitchick for Threads and Instagram. And I am at Brooklyn Margo for TikTok and Blue Sky.
And she's on YouTube. Please follow
my
her
name.
YouTube. At her name, please follow her there. She always shares good clips, and
Margo Donahue.
she has a book coming out next year.
Next year, I know. So
Woo!
I'm going to be, doing lots of promotion. Try not to be annoyed with it.
Nobody's going to be annoyed with it, and anyone who's annoyed with it can talk to me. You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Blue Sky and Threads and Instagram and the TikTok, and Dorking Out Shows at dorkingoutshow.com. Also on Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky. We're not on the other site anymore. We don't go there because it's terrible. So follow us on all the things. It's super fun, I promise. My friend, thank you for talking about The Mirror Has Two Faces. This was super fun.
Yeah, this was so fun. I'm about to go dancing with Jeff Bridges right now.
I'm going to go watch. Let's go.